Hello friends, today we are going to discuss about chapter number 8, Natural Resources, lecture number 2. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the meaning and the definition of resources. Today, in this session, we will cover the topics meaning and the definition of natural resources and the types of natural resources. Before going through this definition and the meaning of natural resources, let us understand quickly about the resources that we learned in the previous session. As we discussed in the previous lecture, that anything that comes in our use, any material that comes in our use or fulfills our need is called a resource. As we all discussed, that there are lots of things, lots of material present in this nature, but unless and until it is not utilizable for mankind or human being, that thing, that material cannot be considered as a resource. We were clear about it. So, what is resource? That is the material that is fulfilling any kind of our need, that comes in our use. That thing is considered as a resource. We also saw some examples like pencil, chalk, chair, fan, school bag, rivers, forest, wildlife. Such things, such each and everything are considered as a resource, because these are the materials, these are the things that are coming in our use, that are fulfilling our some or the other necessity, and that is why these all things can be considered as a resource. As we all know, in the present life that we are living a materialistic life. When we are become addicted towards this luxurious life, in this, these resources play a very important role. If mankind, if human being want to live a luxurious life, if they want to use each and everything that is present in the nature, first that thing should be made utilizable by the human being. Then and then that thing can be considered as a resource. Now, when we are clear about the word resource, we will look at understanding about natural resources. When we are clear about the word resources, now natural. It is a very common word, natural. Whatever is obtained from the nature, without human participation, without our efforts, without spending any kind of cost, that thing is considered as natural. That is obviously obtained from nature or the environment, we can say. And if we combine both these words, natural and resources, that means the materials or anything that we have obtained from the nature without our effort, without the participation of mankind, and when that thing, that material is coming in our use, that material is fulfilling some or the other need of us, then that thing becomes a resource. And as it is available naturally, we can say it is natural resource. It is natural resource. Now, if we look at the simple definition, right, that it is obtained from nature, so it is natural, and when man is using that material, from that material, if man is fulfilling some or the other need, then that becomes a resource. According to the definition, if we see the materials that are available from the nature free of cost, the material, whatever is obtained from the nature or the environment, we can say, and that is free of cost, for which the mankind or human being does not have to spend money. It is free of cost. And along with it, the mankind does not have to do any kind of effort. There is no participation of mankind or human being. Here it is said that is free of cost without human participation. Right? For example, if we see the forest, in the forest we see the trees grow naturally. There is no human participation. At our home, if we have some plants, we give them water so that they can grow properly. But in the forest, we do not go there and give them water so that they can grow. They grow naturally according to the natural condition. So that thing is called nature. Here it is said, the material that are available from nature free of cost without human participation, and when humans modify them, and when it is available from nature. So up to now, here it is said, up to now it is not considered as a resource. Why? Because as we saw in the previous lecture, that until and unless it is not made utilizable, and until and unless that material is not having the capability to work, until and unless it is not usable by man, and until and unless it is not fulfilling any kind of need, it is not considered as a resource. So now, up to now, here it is said that it is natural. Means the material, it is obtained from nature free of cost without human participation. So it becomes natural up to now. Then the next step comes after that, when humans modify them with their intellect, skill, talent, etc., and utilize them for production of other material, they are called natural resources. So now, how this natural material becomes natural resource. Now we will look at that how this natural material becomes natural resources. Up to now it is natural material. How it becomes natural resources? Here it is said, when humans modify them, now these things are modified with their intellect, skill, talent. When now man uses this thing, they are using their intelligence, they are using their skills, they are using their talent, and where they are modifying these things and making that material usable by the human being or mankind, and when these materials are fulfilling the need or they are coming in our use, then that becomes a natural resources. Then they utilize for production of other material. Then it becomes useful to produce other material as well. Let me share an example. If we see the trees in the forest, right? So unless and until we are not using that trees, right, that is not considered as a resource. But when man cuts the wood from it, and when that wood is transferred to make table, chair, cupboards, for making all these things, wood is used, and man is using his intelligence, man is using his talent, his skill to make cupboards, chairs, tables from this wood. Then that wood at that time becomes a resource. So now we are clear with the meaning and the definition of these natural resources. The material that are available from nature free of cost without human participation, and when humans modify them with their intellect, skill, talent, etc., and utilize them for production of other material, they are called natural resources. Clear? Now let us move towards the next topic, that is the types of natural resources. Now we are clear with the word natural resources. So now let us understand how many types of these natural resources are there. There are different types of natural resources. We'll look according to the classification of these types. First, let us go through the classification of its types on the basis from where it is derived, its origin. As we all know that these natural resources, it is derived, its origin, or we can say its condition. So it is again classified according to its origin. That is two types, that is biotic, that is living, we can say living material, biotic material, and abiotic, that is non-living material. If we look at biotic we can say living material that has life in it, that survives. Here it is said abiotic, that is non-living, that does not have life in it, that is not surviving. So here if we look at the example of this biotic resource, here it is said forest, vegetation, animal, fossil fuels. Yes, fossil fuels also can be considered as a biotic resource because it is the decay of dead organic matters, and that is why these fossil fuels also can be considered as the biotic resource. If we look at the abiotic non-living material, we can consider air, water, sunlight, etc. This does not have life in it, so it can be considered in the category of abiotic resource. Now if we look at this, we can be clearly identify that biotic and abiotic. Biotic, that is having life in it, and abiotic, that does not have life in it. Let us go through another classification of the type. Classification of its types on the basis of replenishment, availability, we can say, right? Again, it is classified into two types: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. From the name itself we can understand renew, we are renewing it, that material can be obtained again, that is called renewable, right? Non-renewable, that cannot be obtained again. So let us go through it. Renewable resource, that here we say if we utilize it we can get it again. What is renewable resources? That means once we have utilized it, yes, we can get it again, we can obtain it again. So here it is said the renewable resources are obtained again once they are utilized or once they are used. Let us see the examples of it: air, rivers, sunlight, etc. These are the examples of renewable resources. Like air, we know air is everywhere surrounding us. River, yes, river water, once we use this river water again through rain, we can get this river water. Sunlight, yes, once the solar energy is used, again when the day comes after the night, again we can get this sunlight. So again this is renewable resources. If we look at non-renewable resources, what is non-renewable resources? Once utilized, they are destroyed. It can't be replenished. So simple meaning of it, it is non-renewable, totally opposite of these renewable resources. Once they are used, once we utilize it, it gets destroyed. We cannot replenish it. It cannot be available again. It is totally destroyed. We cannot get it again. Like, let us see the example. It is a oil, coal, natural gas, etc. These are some examples of non-renewable resources. Once we use oil or coal or natural gas, it gets destroyed. It cannot be reused again. and that is why it comes in the category of non-renewable resources. So now we are clear with its type, classification of its type on the basis of its origin, that is biotic and abiotic, and according to its availability, replenishment, it's renewable and non-renewable. Clear? Now let us do a quick revision of what we have done today. That is the meaning and the definition of natural resources. Anything that is available naturally, free of cost, without human participation, and when man is using his intelligence, skills, talents, and modifies that material to utilize it and making it capable to produce any other material from it, that is called natural resources. Means whatever we get from natural, and when mankind or human being make it utilizable for us, and when that material starts fulfilling our need and comes in our use, that becomes natural resource. Types of resources, classification of its origin, that is biotic and abiotic. Biotic, that means living material. Abiotic, that means non-living material. Biotic, forest, vegetation, animals, and fossil fuels, that is the decay of dead organic materials. Abiotic, air, water, sunlight, etc. Classification of its types on the basis of replenishment, again two types, that is renewable and non-renewable. In renewable, we can say if we utilize it, we can get it again. Once it is utilized, when it is used, it can be produced again. Examples are air, river, sunlight, etc. If we look at non-renewable resources, again once it is utilized, they are destroyed. It can't be replenished. They cannot be produced again. Thank you.